Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to St Andre Bassett. This is the Upper Room. I'm Dan Egan, along with the evangelist here at the Parish, Seth. How you doing today, Seth?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm great. How's the summer?
It was excellent. Just got back from California. Spent a few weeks there with the family.
You escaped from Laconia?
Yes, into the desert of the San Joaquin Valley, California. Everybody thinks I surf. I don't. I sweat.
And this, of course, Mr. John Watson is here with us. And John, how's your summer been?
My summer has been good, for the most part. Doing some sailboat racing on Squam Lake. That was fun.
Yeah, it was good to see you out on the lake this year.
Yeah.
You know, when we do these new things that are a little bit outside of our comfort zone, how did your faith come into it when you were learning to sail and sailing with different people all summer? Was there an element of trust, or was it humbling, or what was that like?
Well, yes, tremendously humbling. But also, I think I've been really feeling like God has been asking me to be more courageous, to, as you say, step out of my comfort zone. And to be completely honest, when I capsized the sailboat, I didn't want to come back. I was ashamed. I didn't want to come back the next week. But I felt like God was just saying, look, you've got to get back up on the horse. You've got to face your fear. And yes, it doesn't feel great, but you just got to face it and go back into it, and I'm going to bless it. And he did.
It's amazing what happens when we just show up.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're showing up to this thing right now that we have no idea how to do.
It's time to take my medicine.
Of course, we're talking about the St Andre Bassett Office of Evangelization here in Laconia, and this is our new audio podcast, The Upper Room, with Dan, Seth, and John. And you guys want to talk this session about the upcoming adult programs here at the parish. Is that right?
That's right. We got some big things coming up this year. We have 5 programs. Kick off with Discovering Christ, and for those who've done it or who don't want to do it again with us, we also are doing the New Catholicism series by Father Robert Barron. It's called the New Evangelization, which is going to be going on at the exact same time, basically, as the Discovering Christ series.
This is the 3rd time around with Discovering Christ, or is it more than that?
It's the 3rd time for me. I think we might have done it a couple times before then.
People seem to really like it. I mean, when I participated in Discovering Christ a couple years ago, people were driving from New York and Vermont to come to hear Laconia.
Yeah. I think last year that we had some people from Vermont as well.
And what do you think's the draw? Why are they coming so far to do this program, John?
One of the most significant draws that I got from people, I really realized when I was talking with my dad about this, and he's been a devout Christian his entire life. And I remember talking to him afterwards, and I remember him walking away going, I didn't realize it, but for the first time I really understand these Catholics are my brothers and sisters in Christ. It was kind of a great moment to hear, to hear him say that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool what people discover, I think, as they take these courses, because they're not only learning about themselves, but they're learning about the deep roots in the Catholicism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and I think that there's a couple things that I've seen people take away from it, that they're getting so much out of this series, Discovering Christ, is that first of all, people don't realize they can have a relationship with Christ that is beyond, the weekly checking in, checking your box, getting your obligatory Sunday Mass in, and going to Mass and not realizing that He's fully, truly present there and in your life, and that He comes home with you, and that you live this life day in, day out, that you can have this type of relationship. And Discovering Christ really introduces people to that type of intimacy with Him. And the second piece is the community aspect, is that in those tables, you're with the same group the whole time, you really get to know people, and you have a chance to express yourself, and other people are listening, and then you're feeding off one another, and true friendships really have grown out of all of the different groups that are involved in it.
And so why are you running 2 programs at once? And tell us about the difference of the program.
Well, we have a number of people who've gone through Discovering Christ 2, 3. I think there might even be people who've done it 4 times, wow. And so we don't want to leave them hanging. They're hungry for more, and so at the same time, since they're not going to be doing Discovering Christ, we want to offer them another avenue of growing in their faith. And this year, the church has gotten very loud about this movement, I guess we might call it, the new evangelization. And there's so much we could say about it, and that's what this course is going to do, is introduce it to everyone. Father Robert Barron came out with an amazing, inspiring series. Last year we did it, called Catholicism, and now he has a new series, excellent cinematography, great teachings. There's small group involved on the new evangelization. It's going to teach us how to enter in and answer that call, that modern day call of the church, for us to become the light of Christ in the world. And that's what this is about. So it takes people from that relationship with Christ that we get in discovering Christ, and helps us learn how to share it, how to bring others into that relationship with Christ. Last year, this is brand new. It's actually not even released yet. Hot off the press.
Wow,
coming
great.
At the end of August here.
Wow,
It isn't even released yet?
No, we have it on order, pre-order.
Oh, nice.
So we're cutting edge right here.
That's right.
It's never been done.
Wow, okay. So you don't want to miss out on these two great programs that are kicking off this fall. When do they start, John?
I believe they start in mid-October. The Discovering Christ for sure on October 15th.
Oh, that's great. So you've got some lead time here to dig in, get some information, discover these two courses, which are great courses. What happens after these two courses are done?
What we're doing actually something very unique this year. We're opening up our RCIA program. To the whole parish during this middle component, the catechumenate period. John and I last year, we designed a study on the Catechism of the Catholic Church, and we're going to use this study in our RCIA program. But there was a number of people who couldn't make our weekday events, and so this year we're doing it on the weekends. It's going to be after the 9:30 Mass, and it's an 11-week course that we're inviting the entire parish to join in the RCIA program, because it's much more than just an RCIA class. We're learning how to use the Catechism, and our goal is to empower everyone with it to seek and find the answers on their own. That the church has given us this gift of the Catechism, and that if we learn how to use it, we're going to be able to discover Christ and go deeper into the mysteries on our own. The questions that we have on our hearts it can be answered when we learn how to use this book.
And this work in progress is called Unlocking the Catechism of the Catholic Church. And this is a unique program that was developed here by you two at St Andre Bassett?
Right, we were looking for a program for a parish study on how to use the Catechism. And while we found a few that used the Catechism to teach the faith, we didn't find a single one on how to use the book, how to actually navigate the pages of the Catechism. I opened it up and there's 750 pages of, overwhelming
numbers and text and all
right,
kinds of things.
And the truth is, it's actually not that hard to understand. But you need somebody to show you. So we put a lot of research into it, and we started designing it, and hopefully, actually last year we ran it, and it was incredibly helpful for a number of people. And so we want to offer it again this year, and on a different day, so that those people who can't make the weekdays, maybe they can make a Sunday morning.
That's very exciting. And of course, John, you're a convert, and did you go through the RCIA program?
I did. Let's see, that would be back in fall of 2001, spring of 2002.
And what excites you about now teaching the RCI and this new Unlocking the Catechism program as a convert? I mean, you must really see the benefit for people who are coming through RCIA for this program.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As an adult, there is not one decision that in my life that I have looked back on with as much gratitude and satisfaction as my decision to join the church. When I started looking at the Catholic Church in college and really kind of understand the reasons why we do what we do, and the grace of God that is being given in the sacraments and the teachings of the church, I'm overwhelmed and excited to help people see what I saw, seeing how everything that they may have seen as the truths they may have seen as Protestants, the love for Jesus that they or the attraction to Jesus that they already feel, that it's just fulfilled in the Catholic faith.
I mean, it must be exciting for you, Seth, to come here and to see these programs start to gain some momentum and move forward.
Yeah, one of our main goals is to use them to build community, to bring community life back into the hearts of Catholics around the country, but beginning here in Laconia. And that's one of the reasons we're experimenting with RCIA right now. And the majority of our RCIA program is actually opened up to the parish. The people coming into the church will be immediately thrust right into the community and begin seeing the faces and meeting all the different personalities. We're doing it together. And for anybody who's thinking, oh, I'm not going to do RCIA, that's not for me, that's what they're doing in RCIA, I just want to point out that I teach RCIA, and I've been doing it for a few years now, and every year I revisit that information, and it just takes me deeper into the mystery of Christ. It makes me just more deeply grateful for the gift of faith, and I learn it more and more. And every time I revisit this information, I bring something new out of it. It changes my life every time. So going into it with an open heart, no matter if we know it all or we have a million questions, we're always gonna be thankful that we opened our hearts to it. And
my dad gave me the catechism for graduation from college gift. I got the catechism. And I looked at him like he had 3 heads. What is this? I didn't even know what it was. It's like so heavy, and it sat on my shelf. For the better part of 2 decades.
Did you have the big green one or the tan?
The big tan.
Yeah.
The day came when I opened it and I found the answers I needed. So I'm so grateful that so many years ago he gave it to me. I'm so grateful that I've kept it with me through all my moves and all my travels. And I was even more grateful to open it up. I think it's easy for us not to open that book up.
Absolutely.
But once you start cracking it, there's a world of information that deepens your faith and enlightens you to why certain things are the way they are.
Absolutely.
What happens after that, guys? You're rolling us right into springtime. What goes on around here?
It's really neat what we're doing, because we just did Father Michael Gately's book. Over the summer, we did 33 Days to Morning Glory, and it was a study on Mary, a consecration to Mary that Father Michael Gately has so blessed the church with. In Lent, we're actually taking his second book. It's called Consoling the Heart of Jesus. It's a little different because it's a 10-week study that we're doing in Lent.
Nice.
And so Lent is only 6 weeks. We're going to begin it mid-February.
Okay.
And what's really neat about this is after week 2 in the 10-week study, Father Michael Gately is actually coming to St Andre Bassett Parish for a weekend retreat.
This guy's a superstar.
That's right.
He's coming here to Laconia.
Right. He's going to give a little mission after week 2 of the what this book does is it leads us into the mystery of divine mercy.
Amen.
The heart of Jesus so loved the world that he gave himself for us. Divine mercy is poured out upon us. And the 8th day of Easter, the Sunday after Easter, is Divine Mercy Sunday. And this book is meant to lead us up to that. And so we have our final day of Consoling the Heart of Jesus, the Thursday before Divine Mercy Sunday. And this year, we're actually going to take a parish pilgrimage to Stockbridge, Massachusetts, to the Basilica, the Shrine of Divine Mercy, where Father Michael Gately lives. So the whole package it's a 10-week study. After week 2, Father Michael Gately actually comes here for a weekend mission, and at the end, we all come together as a parish. We're going to fill at least 1 bus, hopefully 2, and we're going to trek down about 4 hours, I think it takes, to Stockbridge to celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday, where there's about 20,000 Catholics who are going to be gathered at the Basilica. It's like Catholic Disneyland.
This is fellowship on a big scale. This is understanding the depth and the breadth of our faith.
And then we follow it up with this Following Christ course, which is Following Christ takes the relationship that we introduce them to in Discovering Christ and deepens it and gets people to reflect on how this ought to work out in their own lives.
So it's a little bit more of an action plan?
Yeah, I think so. Would you describe it that way?
It's about, now, what does it mean to live with Christ? Now that you've discovered Him, how do we live? And as Catholics, how does the sacramental life play into this? And what are we doing in our day-to-day activities that are feeding us, that are helping us to draw on the power of baptism, and that are leading us deeper into the mystery of the Eucharist? So there'll be an overarching understanding of how all this fits into living the sacramental life as a Catholic.
And so you guys are sitting here. It's a nice late August evening. We're about to enter into the fall. School has started. You've laid out an amazing plan for adults here at the St Andre Bassett Parish. There's almost no reason why anybody should not be involved. They're all very inviting. They're very in depth. Great courses. What's your overall goal? 40,000 feet. What are we trying to accomplish? We've got the courses to accomplish it. What's your goal?
I would say joy.
Yeah?
I think that joy radiating from this place is our goal. That we would know Jesus Christ and through Him the Father, and through that we would become Him in the world. That we would begin to radiate His joy. That's my goal. That's my goal for our kids in the youth program, for my kids at home, for myself, and for anybody who I'm trying to teach. I want the joy of Christ to be known and never taken for granted.
Can't argue with that. That's a good enough reason to show up here at St Andre's Bassett Parish on any given night or any given Sunday. And really glad you took the time to join us here. This is going to be we'll release a couple of podcasts a month. We'll be looking at more in depth each course by course as we move through the year. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. And John, Seth, nice job.
God bless.
Thank you very much.